The spell is broken. Say it with me. The spell is broken. Now, if you're wondering why I'm saying that, we all need to say that from time to time. Because if you're doing spells, rituals, or anything besides allowing, something may not be right with that. I'm going to talk more about that. So stay tuned. This is Nimbus Intuition. Before we get started, let's start off thinking about good things, pleasant things, things to make you smile, things to make you laugh, things to make you feel good. Think about whatever made your cheeks hurt because you were smiling so much, whatever made you laugh until you rolled over, whatever made you feel so good you felt like you were floating. Think about that, and think about that. All right, so the spell is broken. Now, you would think that this is like really out there to say, but actually, that's something that, like I said, from time to time we need to say, and it's best to say it in a mirror. Because some people, the desire to be with another person is so great sometimes that they get to doing spell work and rituals and different things like that in order to have those people in their lives. And I wouldn't advise that because there are always consequences to things like that. So we have to say that from time to time. This brings me to my theme this week of friendship, because friends is what it's all about when it comes to the foundations of relationship. Friendship. Now, friends, we all had them when we were growing up, and as adults, we struggle so much with it. And it's interesting because from the time we had the most honest friends, the most genuine friends, the most, flow with the friendships were before, we got out of that 0 to 7 year period. And you probably remember. And so as we get older, it gets for some, it gets more difficult to just be friends, especially when it comes to the opposite sex. Now, I wanted to talk about how to be friends. And I think I'll do a few videos talking about this, but this is one of them, because when it comes to relationships, some people go through these extremes to get into relationships. And this is simply not allowing. Now, when you're friends, when you have the foundation of friends, you're allowing. All right? And so allowing is simply letting things be. Letting yourself be your full self as you know it to be, and letting people around you be who they are, just freely. And if a spark happens, and then things happen after that, all of that is a process of allowing. There's no force. All right, so when people go to extremes, that's fake, that's forced. It's not real. And so you have to allow. One of the things that we see when you're not allowing, when things are being forced, when things are not happening naturally, is that you are changing who you are for someone else. You're changing who you are to fit someone's desire, or you're changing who you are so that you can fit into somebody's mold. And that's essentially what molding someone is. They're trying to make a person out to be how they want them to be instead of who they are. Now, this is kind of tricky because we do make some compromises when it comes to relationships. If we a night owl and we used to hanging out to 1 a.m, once we get into a committed relationship, we'll definitely probably won't hang out that late, just out of respect and common courtesy. if we are early riser and we get up at 5 o'clock and we're in a, say a marriage, and our partner doesn't wake until 6:30 and we know it, we'll make the compromise of making sure that we don't disturb that person before they normally get up. That's kind of the compromises we'll make as we come together. But we don't change who we are. And if you find yourself changing who you are, that's more than a red flag. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Maybe not disaster, but it's definitely not the right connection for you. So this is things like, if you are a bowler, you love to bowl, it's something that you've been doing for years and years, you have a regular bowling schedule and all of that. And then in order to get with the person that you desire, or this person has caught your eye, or you admire, you're physically attracted to, all of that, you find that they can't stand bowling. And so if there's no room for you to continue your bowling and still be in a relationship, you decide that you want to not bowl anymore. And that shouldn't happen. Now, that's not a do or die situation. That person doesn't have to be a part of your bowling activities. However, if you are giving up something that you love to do, something that you've been doing for the sake of the relationship, the sake of being with someone, that's definitely not the right connection. If you are someone who, I don't know, I'm trying to think of things. There's so many things that can go into this. Something that you normally do, you regularly do, is part of who you are. And you have to think about what that is for you. It could be something that you, hobby, extracurricular activities, something within your personality even, that you are not adjusting slightly, but you're changing completely so that you can be in a relationship. That's no good. See, what happens if you are doing that, with my bowling example for instance, is that this person who is a lover of bowling is taking away something that is part of who they are. And why would you want to do that? Why would the person that loves you want you to do that? It just simply doesn't make sense. And I think that person will reach a point where, that will become a problem. And then it'll be like a snowball effect with the relationship not continuing anyway. So when you see these things, you have to pay attention to them. This comes back down to friendship. Because as friends, you get to see all of who a person is. The things that they like to do, their hobbies, their extracurricular activities, their personality, the whole thing. If you're just friends. And just being friends is just being you and letting the person be them. And there's no strings as far as, because there's no relationship. And, you're just being in each other's space because you want to be that person's friend. And so that is what friendship is about. The foundation of a good relationship. So we have to learn to let people be who they are. And just remember that if someone's going crazy extra with trying to make something happen, trying to force something happen, just say the spell is broken, because I think that can take care of a lot of that kind of stuff. And just be who you are as much as you can. And the person that's meant for you, the person who can genuinely love you, will accept you just how you are. as usual, love and gratitude.